Hello everyone, Krydex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. I wanted to start the episode on this update page because there's an update that actually is important. I mean, maybe it's not that important. I could have just said it at the beginning of the episode, but read this first line. Decider Combinator, Arithmetic Combinator, and Selector Combinator are now primary energy consumers and have buffer size increased to make them more reliable in case of low power. That is a really cool change. I thought that was already the case. I thought if you had low power, they just worked anyway, and the only way they wouldn't work is if you literally ran out of power. I thought they still worked in brownouts but not blackouts, but maybe that was incorrect. So yeah, I don't know. In any case, we shall carry on with pyanodons. I'm trying to remember where we left off yesterday in our gargantuan episode. Yeah, we fixed that nonsense because we learned that, you know, it's really funny. The entire thing was just 900 is divisible by 12 and 950 isn't. That like the entire problem stemmed from that. And it took us basically a combined like hour and a half to 2 hours to figure that out. Because there was a whole nother episode where we dove in and thought we had fixed it, and we didn't even... I don't even think I got close to twigging onto that being the problem. I mean, I did twig on to the... What did I even change last episode? Oh, I didn't change anything. In the first episode where we tried to fix this, we investigated, and the conclusion I had come to, which was incorrect, was that... it adds 48 extra. We're okay to have one locked slot. The issue must have come from when I wired it up initially. It must have been an issue from before I fixed the wiring. But that was not true. The issue was from before that. The issue was from long before that. From the beginning of time itself. Okay, so coal dust is what we're working on this episode. I think, let's see. So Kicalk right now, we don't have a ton more space for it. I don't even think I have enough, yeah, I don't have enough space for another. I could do like a little bit over here. We've currently only got 32. So I'm trying to think like, what's a good way to go about doing this? When do we get Kicalk Mark II? I guess that's a good thing to start with. We already have it. Did I forget to make these? Wait, what's going on here? Did I not upmark Kicalk? Hold the phone. What? The hootenanny? No, we did this, right? The Flutech. Yeah, the Flutech PP6. We got Kicalk Mark II. We got Kicalk Mark II going on. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. I am screwing something up here, though. No, I'm not. Okay, we're good. Perfect. Okay, so Kicalk Mark II, deliver to the buildings. Ooh, it's a lot of modules. What is that? 8 plus 8 is 20... 23? No, that can't be right. 3. Oh, these are rows of 7. Wait, is that different? Oh, they're different on every building because the sprite size is different. Okay, never. I can't use that then. How many modules are in here? So that is 9 plus 9 plus 2. These are 20 apiece, so that's 80. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, no blinks yet. No blinking yet. No blinking yet. No blinking yet. Oh, I guess we did have enough. Maybe. No. Oh, I screwed this up. This was before the advent of me building with construction bots. So we've got problems. Yes, we do. We've got problems. How about you? Okay. You know, I'm just gonna go there. I want to go to there. Click, 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 click. Drink some coffee here. And improve. So then this build realistically looks more like this. Which we actually do have this amount then. Okay. I'll pin that and we can deal with that in a second. Hop off the train here. And then, yeah, we're gonna need those to be a bit closer. I just use a bit. No, big pull doesn't work either. Oh, this was before the advent of big pulls even. Wow. Crazy stuff. Okay, so that one gets that area. We'll need one down here. And then we're gonna put one down here. And then we'll put one up here, which will probably need a big pull. Or 3. And then finally, we'll put one up here just to kind of make sure the whole area is covered for future. And that should do it. All right, now the bots are still seemingly okay with it, but that's because they're all gone. There's a couple changes I want to make regarding bots. Oh shoot, there was also like, my brain went to YouTube comments and now I'm thinking, I think someone left a comment that was about something that was broken that I needed to fix. And I said, oh, I most certainly did not. Oh yeah. It was the tailings dust on the new build that we forgot to deal with. We have excess tailings dust. We need to burn the extra tailings dust. That's what it was. Okay, why don't I prioritize right? And then this, I made this really complicated. This will output to here where it goes to a separator, which then has I think this might be a good spot for it, which then has access to a burner. Where's my burner? This is confusing how it'll have to work. So let's say everything goes into the chest, and then this separates tailings dust into coal dust and rich dust. And then this will burn tailings dust if we have tailings dust greater than 100. So there's always 100 left to separate into coal dust. Then this feeds the coal dust directly in. And I don't know if we need to separate this out, but I will. One for rich dust, one for coal dust. And then this will get backed up on rich dust, or coal dust at some point, because coal dust can't be burned, it's fuel. So those are two different things. Uh-oh. Oh, my own train is out of fuel. That's weird. I have no fuel in my inventory, apparently. Let's kill a couple trees. Anyway, where am I going? I'm going to the auto mall. Okay. Let's just take a car ride. We haven't done that in a while. Make sure it's nice and risky. Drive across multiple train tracks. Alright, so what the idea... Oh, we did do this. Okay, I'm not completely daft. I just only have 30 requested here. Someone had mentioned this idea in, and I have 30 there. And we'll put 30 here. And are you channel 0? Oh, those are both channel 1. That's not right. And maybe it is right, because bots are busy over there. Maybe that's what I intended. Okay. I'm gonna have, that's another 60 total in this area. Maybe a few more. We'll put this to 60. Okay. So that way there's more bots in the auto mall area by default. Then I'm gonna take 100, because I haven't added bots in a long time. And we had 495. Which actually means I need one more to round out the totals here. Okay. So now we're at exactly 600. Alright. So there's 105 more bots in the network. And I might as well get 14 Logi bots to round out that number. Plus 50 more. $250 and 600. Okay. For the most part, our construction bots have been plentiful enough. It hasn't really been a huge issue. I figure 100 more will help us keep up with slightly increasing demand for things, but honestly, 500's been fine too. So 600 will be even better. All right, so Kicalk should be faster now. I'm gonna need to add more of these and more of these and maybe more of these. So it's a little messy because of, I didn't leave much room for expansion here. I'm actually thinking, which is dangerous, but I actually think I want to move the seeds to the side here because this is wasted space, and then we can use this space for a better organization of this stuff. So let's, I mean, Kicalk seeds are always priority, because that's just, you know, for regrowth. So what I can do is I can just pull Kicalk directly off with priority on a fast insert. Well, not with priority, but it's prioritized by timing purposes. It gets to it first, even though it's technically not prioritized. To Kicalk a second should grab most of the Kicalk. You know what? I actually might need that to be a sideways inserter. And then it won't miss very much. As far as I can tell, the only way this misses items is if they're probably right next to each other and multiple in a row. It might even be able to grab 2 items next to each other because it can grab the first one when it just enters the range, and it might be able to grab the second one before it exits the range. The reason I say 2 in a row is because this is more than half the speed of a single belt lane. So if the belt lane was fully compressed, 2 of these could get everything off of it. At least in terms of pure numbers. I don't, you know, the spacing might not work out exactly that way, but you guys get what I'm saying, I think. Okay, so then that's there, and then we need a bunch of bot nurses. I don't know how many exactly, so I'm gonna start with 6. And we might need a whole belt of seeds. Like, we're only up to 4. Oh, we overbuilt this in the first place. This is actually almost capable of handling even all the Mark IIs. 4.3 a second only. It'll be a while before we need a whole belt, but we might as well set it up for a whole belt of Kicalk seeds. Hold shift so we build through the trees. Bring this down. I'm gonna have to have a little bit of a underground situation here. Extend that. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Select the recipe. You. Boom. Power should be pretty chill. Look at that wire reach. Oh my gosh. It's like I'm cheating. It feels like I'm cheating. I love it. All right, and then the seeds, it's side loaded over there. How do I feel about this? I mean, it's a little messy. Go all the way to there when we could go all the way to like here instead and just side load here the same amount. We just need to make sure this is wired up as well and has the same condition. And then this is Kicalk seeds. And to reduce visual clutter, I'm actually going to go undergrounds here like that. Okay. I think that's good to go. Should be reading the same things, and then I can turn that off. I'm going to go manually remove items and fix buffers because construction bots are just not the right way to do it. I'm still starting to wonder if not using elevated rails is going to bite me in the butt. I think it won't because of the bigger capacity trains that we've got coming. But man, if it isn't a scary prospect right now. That train traffic could be a problem. I really should have designed it from the bottom up, ground up, start to finish. I really should have designed it with elevated rails in mind. Like, I should have designed one with elevated rails before I even designed anything, and then just undid the elevated part for the beginning of the game. And then as soon as I unlocked the ability to produce elevated, because they're not cheap in Pi, they're stupid expensive, like really expensive, because of all these intermetallics. So at first, this is like prohibitively expensive. But once intermetallics become a little cheaper, which are they even cheaper for me? Now that I think about it, I mean, they're a little cheaper because of all the side metals becoming cheaper, like duralumin. All of these have become cheaper for me. But antimony oxide, you do not get a better way to make it until chemical science. From the first moment you design this god-awful product, you're making it this way, and you don't get a better way to make it until chemical science. Now, for those of you who sort of are following but not following closely enough to remember, this is not an upgrade. We need this for the Dow froth or for the ethylene glycol or something, but this actually is a terribly expensive and horrid way to make antimony oxide, and it's not actually more efficient. Or it is more efficient, but at what cost kind of thing, I seem to remember. So, I don't know why those numbers are weird, but yeah, so if you have 15, wait, what's going on here? Why does this one have all the fancy things in it? Oh, I was comparing both? Wait. Oh, but you get both. You get the concentrate and the pulp too. Anyway, so the ratio is much better in terms of raw ore, of course. But if you look at the buildings and the power, it's 107 buildings versus 49 buildings. And fuel cost actually looks pretty similar. Let me switch the fuel over to rock coal. Fuel cost is pretty similar, but it's this Dow froth cost that ruins it, if I'm remembering correctly. The lime is not a huge deal. The plastic is the same cost for both. The oxygen is actually cheaper. There's some fish oil as part of the cost, but I'm not too worried about that. Or am I? How much fish oil is in a single fish? 12.5. So that is one fish a second. That's not nothing. Though that would be for 4 Antomox. Okay, so what was in Dowfroth again? This is what's in Dowfroth. So 50 Dowfroth translates to, you guessed it, hydrogen peroxide. That's one of the reasons we needed to set it up. I had forgotten. I knew hydrogen peroxide went to something other than just the etching solution. So hydrogen peroxide, and we already made the acetic acid, so I can take that off. But yeah, the hydrogen peroxide is needed plus acetic acid plus lead plate to make lead acetate. And lead acetate, oh, no, that's not even part of Dowfroth, my bad. Dowfroth is methanol, ethylene glycol, and chromium, which is chloroethanol, sand, slaked lime, which means we need to get the lime situation under control, which has ethylene, which is chill, that's BTX and Nexalit, and then the ethylene chlorohydrin, I think I'm saying that right, is silver and ethylene and chlorine. Okay, man, what a mess. I can take these two off as well. So antimony becomes very expensive. You know, we're talking, didn't I only design for 20 hydrogen peroxide? So we would only get a few antimony a second, even with the entire vanadium build that we built. Yeah, because it was only slightly more than one of these running at a time. In fact, we should be able to do this guy to get the real number. Nope, that is incorrect. Huh. Doesn't seem to like the loop. Something about the loop. I'm not exactly certain what it's calculating on. Yeah, I don't know how to use this mod exactly. Anyway. I believe it was around 20 hydrogen peroxide. Where was that? Was that in the chem sci? Yeah. Yeah, we built it for 20. So we will only make this version of antimony because we need one of these two things. I forget which one. I think it's this one, antimony pulp 2. For something in chem sci. There it is. The heavily N-type silicon doping needs antimony pulp 2. Boom. So if we go to our stuff here, yeah, we can see 9.6 antimony pulp 2. So if we grab that and throw that in there, make that its own little sub block, then that's going to need 9.6 Dowfroth, 9.6 ethylene glycol, chloroethanol, the slaked lime. This is all that stuff. That one wasn't too pricey, I don't think. It's just the silver is the expensive part to that. How much soot would this be? 6.4 soot a second. Did I? No, I designed the other silver, right? We did this one, I think. Let me double check on that. Did we design normal silver? Yes, right here. And where is it going? It's gone. Silver on a belt, silver. Okay, and it's being provided at priority 0. And how many stacks? 2,500, perfect. Okay, so we got silver. We got the silver. All right, and then... Pulp 1 is the one that needs the lead acetate, which is the really expensive one. Now that's interesting. Later in the game, there is a turd that allows you to get lead acetate. No, it made in a Simic din. It's one of those weird Simic recipes. But yeah, so the amount of circuits that I want to automate is going to require 5 of that hydrogen peroxide. And I don't know if you guys remember, but didn't we say we can't even handle this much arthropod blood? Like we over-designed for it? How much zip here would this be? Yeah, that would be 0.5 zip here. 0.394 Zypho. Yeah, we're screwed. We're not going to be able to make circuits at this rate. Man, that's rough. So which component specifically is it? Just so we know ahead of time which thing is... Oh, the music stopped again. It keeps doing that. I still haven't figured that part out. So it's going to be the heavily in-doped silicon wafers, which go into the MOSFETs and the transistors. The ones with the little pokey bits. I guess that one has pokey bits and it doesn't have the in-dope, but it's different pokey bits. That like gets... I guess they're similar pokey bits, but these have triple stabbies, and that has... little spider leg or ant leg stabbies. Those are all the official terms, by the way, if you're curious. Well, that was a fun dive into the nightmare that is impending. Let's see if this is running properly. It seems like it is working. Oh, you know what I just realized, though? This one sushi belt's not going to cut it. For the increased rates. For now, it's fine. We'll do a full Kicalk rework at some point. I might have red belts by the time I care. The important thing for now is that we need more fiber, because this is not going to be enough fiber. So I need to remove these buildings. I need to get rid of extra Kicalk here. I need to get rid of all these seeds. Okay, and then we'll destroy our power network, which is fine. Make sure we actually reconnect things. Okay, and we do have to provide Kicalk seeds as well. I would be like this. Why did I do things like this? Okay, hold on. Let me just clear out the belts here. I will copy this. We'll manually deconstruct these buildings. Or at least most of them. You know what? I'm just going to rebuild it. I don't know what I did, but I'm going to do it different. Okay, get out of here. We're redoing this. More smartly. More betterer. Alright, so this is gonna start all the way up here. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take away 1 space. Okay, so that's there. Then we're gonna do this horizontal flip, and we're gonna have 2 spaces. I think what I can do is something like this, and then this, and then that leaves me room here for 2 inserters in a trench coat and a power pole. Fiber, 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 kick out fiber. Okay. Does that actually work out right? Yeah, they only need 0.1. So grab from there, power pole. That seems to be successful as a blueprint. So there's 10, and we'll go ahead and do 20. Boom. Okay. And now we've got fiber coming out our ears right here, which goes... Is that gonna be... We should have our own belt for fiber. We can just make these separate belts. Like, this isn't tricky. Yeah, I mean, not tricky. We just need Kicalk to not be on this belt, because this is going to be the fiber belt, which is now this belt. Train is stuck. Shoot. We have an ash problem somewhere. An ash loading problem. Okay, wait, that one was correct. That was supposed to be Kicalk. Okay, so fiber is this bottom one. So that's fiber, and then Kicalk. Do I re-merge these two, or how do I do this? So let's input priority the fiber from this first one, which means that this one is going to have the extra Kicalk on it. First, that Kicalk will go to making fiber, but if we didn't need that... So really, we're prioritizing fiber over Kicalk. I don't know if we should be doing that, but I am. But I guess by pulling the Kicalk from up here... Yeah, this is input priority left, so if they're both stocked up, it's going to take the fiber from here and the Kicalk from here, and the Kicalk won't be getting used up here because it's taking the fiber from here. Now, that's what we wanted to do. I think that's slightly more efficient. Okay, so then finally... To finish this out, we need to split the atom. Split the Kicalk. Have it go up to here and down to here. And then we need to do the thing that I completely didn't think about when we redid Kicalk seeds, which is bring Kicalk seeds all the way over here anyway. So... Trying to save face by not having a belt go all the way around did not work, because we still have to do it. Cool. We're just cleaning things up here. Although that's not clean. That's not even needed. Alright. Speaking of not needed, what is this? I don't know, but let's fix it. I don't want to give you my lamps. Do not consent to that. Alright, there's that. Kicalk's plugged in. It needs to prioritize to the right. So we only give trains Kicalk if we, or Kicalk seeds if we have extra Kicalk seeds. We already looked into the density. It's not that much worse because Kicalk only stacks to 50, so it's not really any different. All right, I think we're good now. Okay, that feels good to have that expanded. Now this needs to be expanded. What exactly is going on here? Is this just to make sand? Honestly, it's fine. I'm just saying it's fine. No, no, no. We're doing it. Let's do it right. We did this much. Let's do the rest. Did this much. Let's do the rest. Okay, get out of here. Get out of here. You know, that muddy sludge could be useful for whatever it's worth as well. Keep that in mind. Get rid of you. Now I lost some bots. 24 bots, please. Alright, so first we get the clay pit times 2. Seems like we needed. And those just need steam, so that's chill. And that should flow through to the other one. Okay. There's that. And then the sand needs a couple of washers with soil extractors. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in, since we have the space, an F trasher for muddy sludge. Nope, that's the wrong signal. Wait, is it? What the heck? I swear I hit the X100 one. Yeah, I did. And it like auto fixed it on this, but not on this? What just, what? I swear I clicked on that one. Is this supposed to have something? Or not? Maybe not. I don't know what's going on. Whatever, that'll work. Alright, and this way we don't have to destroy all of the free muddy sludge that we're getting here. Put that there. Soil sorting. The sand. You know the other thing I always forget about? Isn't there another way to make sand that I always forget about? There's soil to sand, and then there's, yeah, the dry soil to sand. I always forget about this. Why do I forget about this? Because it feels worse? It's more efficient. Why do I forget about this? Is it because of all the weird stuff that we end up with, like coarse fractions and limestone? I don't know, but I forget these exist. We could be getting all kinds of free coarse fractions as a trash product here if we need them. It's so interesting that I like forget this exists. I don't want to deal with the coarse fractions right now though, so I'm not going to, which is maybe part of my downfall. But let's get this hooked up. The rate here is 2. Oh. This is a different... I was thinking of the Muddy Sludge recipe. The Muddy Sludge recipe is closer to 1-to-1, but this is like 3-to-1. So... definitely need... like this. Okay. So that's closer. We're gonna need probably a couple... water pumps here. We do not need a couple on that. What's the rate on clay again? I think 2 will be fine. Alright, and then power. Muddy sludge there. And we'll copy this again. As far as output rate of sand, I think 2 inserters is fine. On the close side. I'm putting that on the wrong side, I realize. Okay. So that fixes that problem. And then finally the muddy sludge needs to be extracted. Somewhere out here. We need a sinkhole on overflow. Or no. I don't want it to be able to flow backwards. You know what? I've never thought about it this way, but we can just use an overflow valve at like 10% instead of a pump. Because that'll still fully fill the output destination, which we, for some reason... I'm very curious if the old behavior worked differently, or if I'm just crazy. It's one of the two. Where like the overflow valve would only fill it up to 10% max. It would never fill over that. You know, but if you think about how an overflow valve would actually work, like an overflow valve, like let's say this is your pipeline, right? An overflow valve is like, and it's going left to right. So an overflow valve is like putting a little wall here so that it has to fill up to here before it spills over, right? But then if this keeps filling up, this one would also fill up. They'd both end up at 100%. So I don't know, like, if I went mad or something, but for some reason, my brain said this would only fill the destination to a max of 10%, which is just not true. And since I'm here, I think I'm just gonna add a third clay pit. And I guess we need another steam. Okay. So that future-proofs things quite a bit. Alright, well, that Kicalk improvement session was not on my to-do list, but we did do it, and now we have a better availability of fiber, which is good. The bots are still working on Kicalk Mark II. We need 70 more. And now that fiber's more available, we can also work on coal dust. I think it makes sense to work on coal dust here, because we've looked into fiber enough to know that this is going to be our primary source of fiber for the rest of the game. So now I can add a bunch of high pressure furnaces somewhere and provide coal dust at maybe a low priority, like a -1 priority. Just to make sure the other ways that I'm making it aren't there? I don't know. But I think this is a pretty safe spot to build our coal dust HPFs. Let's see. So it's 1 in, 2 out. Delta fiber in. I mean, how much fiber can I even make right now? We max out at 10. Those are already using 4. So we only need 10 HPFs for this. So that's the extent of my capability to even make fiber. Even if 100% of it was going to coal dust. That'll come down here, and then we will have, you know, just your basic thingy-majiggers. And that one goes on the left side. Put that horizontally. The input, we'll use fast inserters so as to not need extra insertage. One of those, which I still don't love how blocking of everything that those graphics are, but I do love the power of them. But in this case, couldn't I have just used the regular poles? Yes, I could have, and I will. Because I honestly think that looks better. I love the pie sprites. I do wish there was a little... So here's my comment, which is going to make some of you happy when I first start talking and then less happy, because you think I'm on your team and then I'm only halfway on your team. I'm talking about the overhangs. And I know some people are very grumpy about pretty much all of the overhangs in Pi. I'm not. I don't mind this building having this exact overhang. The building looks like a square. The edge of the square is where you think it should be. And the overhang is there, but it's not killer. What I don't love is this kind of overhang. The building is a complete rectangle, and the overhang is an exact rectangle. And you don't really have a way of knowing where the back of the building even is until you highlight it. And this is a small building. The smaller the building is, the less overhang it should have, because you're going to fit it into small places. And therefore, my reasoning doubles down when you get to power poles. Power poles go everywhere. So the overhang should be minimal, and you can see what they did with vanilla power poles to try to make it less obtrusive on the eyes, right? Like, they're really skinny. They even lean sideways a little bit, which I think is actually really clever. I think that helps to not hide things as, I don't know, it helps to not hide things because it's sideways. So there's something about the angle that helps. And there's even see-through bits of it, right? So what I would love is if they redesigned this graphic, maybe to be a little bit shorter, a little bit skinnier, because it's almost the width of a full tile, and to have some see-through parts. They could still make it look futuristic, they could still make it look like this cool, you know, Nexalit metal, but give it some see-through parts and I'd be a lot happier. Okay, fiber, we're just gonna split 50-50 to coal dust. And then can we provide coal dust at this train stop? You know what, I'm gonna say no. We'll just add a new train stop. Should I make it a multi-provider? I mean, part of me wants to say yes, but like, why? I think this can be a regular provider. And then do the extra there. This is going to be coal dust from fiber. Provide, we can check that off the list because we're pretty much done. Though technically not done yet. That turns. I'm keeping these separate belts because we're at 20 a second potentially, and I don't want to deal with stacking. Alright, I'm not even gonna worry about how that belt will get in the way of train stations. I can super force build if we need to later. Okay, that should do it for coal dust. Somehow we're not powered up here. Boom. Look at those furnaces glow. Look at them glow. 0.1 gigawatts. Let's add some more power while I'm looking at it. I need some space for water to flow into our fake bay here. Let's put that there. Uh-oh, that doesn't work. Yeah, let's just... we'll just keep going, whatever. Why not? 2 more. This is another 144 megawatts right there. And a lot of unhappy bots that have to build landfill. Okay, but that should provide all of the coal dust that we need. Yeah. Oh, and then priority. Priority -1. So we'll grab from other sources of coal dust first. I'm pretty sure all my other sources of coal dust are gonna be trash priority anyway, but let's just double check. See, it might not be. This was my main way of making coal dust before. Yeah, see, that's priority 0. So what is this doing exactly? Is this me crushing coal specifically to make coal dust, or are we just using the coal dust that we make from this? I think we're just using the coal dust that we make from it. Yeah, and we're that's on channel 1. So I'm not trashing it? This is a trash provider from where? This is tailings dust to acid gas. For acid gas, trash provide. Okay, and then what's this? Coal dust from fiber, that's the one we just made. Stone, gravel, sand, trash provide. No idea what that's from. Looks like it's from... What is that from? Is it... Oh, it's from ash separation, I guess? Got it. These only need 2 lock slots, by the way, as we've learned. Technically, this one only needs 1. In fact, it would only need 1 even if I had 6 loaders, because we don't have any 50 stacks in here. But I'm just going to leave it at 2 to be safe. Reducing our train efficiency by 5% at the peace of mind that I gain is very much worth it. Whoa, what is going on here? Oh, the landfill. Okay. I see. That's where all my landfill's stored. Okay, so anyway, back to this. I just want to make sure we're not screwing something up. The only thing requesting coal dust... So how am I getting rid of coal dust? Oh, right, we have an overflow. Right. Okay. So this overflows to then become the primary thing that gets burned. What if these didn't need to run anymore? I just realized we're screwed. We're gonna stop crushing coal, which would be a huge problem for our coal providing, which, by the way, I'm gonna speed up by a lot here. Wait, no, I don't need that one, because these reach across. So, yeah, this is actually a problem. We need a way to burn coal dust that we get from this process, which is 1.5 a second. I guess that's a couple boilers. Oh, we already set that up. Oh, I'm so smart. Past Krydex is a genius. We already set that up. Look at that. Okay, we're good. Yay! I love it when past Krydex was smart. Foresaw the problems of the future. Something didn't go right here. Oh, that's so funny. Because the middle, this defaults to going on the right side of the belt, but so does this one, and I flipped that, so I actually needed to not flip it. That didn't fix anything. I don't know if I just put fiber on the wrong belt or what, but actually, you know, having some fiber will be good for train fuel. I'll keep that. What I won't keep is Kicalk or Kicalk seeds. I'll just keep the lamps. Anyway, to fix this, I need to change these to the left side still. Feels weird to not have it look perfectly symmetrical. The way that I could have done perfect symmetry is by making sure this one was on the right side, like that, and then when I flip those two, I guess I can do it this way. Then it'll be perfect symmetry. Yeah, but then I have to copy it. Oh, whatever. I'll just do 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I did 6? Apparently I did one more than I thought I did. Okay, cool. Whatever. Ooh, that'll be a red belt full of fiber, pretty much. And yeah, we got fiber on this belt somehow. Okay, well, we're gonna call it an episode there. This felt like a pretty successful episode. Now we are looking at silicon. Production. And I am only going to take about 3 minutes to look into this, I promise. I know I've been really bad about that. Saying 3 minutes and not being 3 minutes, but I'm gonna try to keep it to around 3 minutes. So let's look at our silicon block here. Yeah, there's like a lot of things that silicon makes. I might make silicon its own block. There's some weird stuff going on here. Because then that becomes a lot of things, right? And so we need a lot of silicon, but we also need some of the silicon byproducts immediately as well. We need the silicon, we need the silicon wafers, which need the electronic grade silicon, which comes through the trichlorosilane and then purify the trichlorosilane in DDC's route, which really doesn't cost us anything. That's just a loop that takes power and space. So that's chill, but that's gonna need a lot of space. We do need to make some NiSi nickel silicon, which uses cobalt extract, and we need to make some green silicon carbide, which weirdly doesn't use any silicon. It's graphite, quartz, and coke. That one's confusing. I think SiC is silicon carbide. Let me know if that's wrong. Is that not what SiC stands for? It definitely says crude version of silicon carbide. Weird. Anyway, we make the green SiC and then we crush that down into regular silicon carbide, which is used in the MOSFETs, and that looks like it. Okay, that's about it though. So yeah, we'll set that up in the next episode. Maybe I don't need another block for this. This is less than I thought it was. We basically need a bunch of HPFs to make the actual silicon, which will probably be provided on trains. We're almost at 3 minutes here. Because, yeah, the silicon goes in a lot of things. So we'll want that to be on trains. And then from there, we'll make the Nisei, which arguably needs to go on trains because, yeah, that'll be in a different spot. And then later we need crucibles. So that'll go on trains. And then we'll make the trichlorosilane, which I don't... that needs to go on trains too. Or we could make self-assembly monolayer material on site. But that doesn't seem necessary. I'll put the trichlorosilane on trains, and we'll get purified trichlorosilane, which does not need to go on trains. That will just go directly into the electronic grade silicon, which means it's not a perfect loop because trichlorosilane needs the HCl, and we only get that HCl back if we end up but we get the hydrogen back. So should I just request chlorine to replace trichlorosilane out? Means chlorine would come in combined with this hydrogen to make the HCl that we need again. So the idea is we either trash provide hydrogen or we request chlorine and make HCl on site. No, I think we should just request more HCl because we make HCl in a variety of ways. So we just want to request HCl all the time. And we'll just get rid of the hydrogen. Okay, and then the trichlorosilane, it turns into the pure, which then just gets added back with hydrogen to make the electronic grade silicon. We'll always have the hydrogen available to make this because we made it when we made this, and we'll even have excess hydrogen. And then we will use this HCl first, of course, and then request more if we need it. So that all works out. And then finally, so we said, well, we're providing the electronic grade silicon, of course. And I think that's all we're gonna have to make. So silicon, trichlorosilane, Nisei, and electronic grade silicon. So it's gonna be 4 products kind of in one block. That's the current plan. Cool. All right, well, we're going to call it an episode there. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.